I have reached the age at which my sins manifest on my corporeal visage. Poor weightlifting form gave me a weird pain over here that hasn't gone away in like 8 years. Little spots have begun to pop up from days in which I didn't have enough SPF. And so now that I'm the type of guy who might visit a podiatrist or a dermatologist, I'm learning valuable stuff that would have been even more valuable to know about 10 years ago. This is basic advice from regular folks who want to maintain the skin on their face without diving into subreddits, specialty creams, overseas skincare products, or anything that they may deem too vain and froofy. Step 1 is to wash your face in the morning and before bed. That's pretty basic stuff. I imagine 100% of my audience does that, except already we seem to have overlooked step 0. Drink water. Your body needs water, and if you treat it like a desiccated sack of meat, it's going to adopt the appearance of one. I think that there's this consumerist idea that skincare starts and ends with buying and applying products, but I think it starts with stuff like drinking enough water and washing your pillowcase once or twice a week. Anyway, step 2 is to apply moisturizer after washing and drying your face. This is where I start to lose a surprising number of fellas already. If I want to meet my audience where they are, yes, plenty of guys see lotion as a gay thing to own. That's why it's such a profitable industry to make dude wipes and Duke Cannon soap. Some guys want to act like aftershave balm is the only emollient meant to touch a man's face. But if you don't find some way to moisturize, you might meet the same fate as so many high-end wooden cutting boards that crack, split, and irreversibly dry out. Step 3 is sunscreen, and that's applied in the morning. I have some friends who don't use lotion and a lot of friends who don't use sunscreen every day. Even if you work in an office, you probably don't work in a windowless room. You probably have a commute where the windshield lets direct sunlight in for like half an hour. I live in the Sonoran Desert, and yet most guys that I know, myself included until recently, assumed that sunscreen was really only for beach day and pool time. Sunscreen should be an everyday application. I will keep it 100 with you. Trying to find a sunscreen that you're willing to apply every day, especially in America, where the sunscreen offerings are far, far worse than elsewhere, sucks. Some feel greasy or thick on your skin. Some might turn your skin white, or maybe they'll leave the skin the same color but then collect in your facial stubble and turn your mustache white. I've tried about 6 so far, and these 2 have stood out the most. But I will say the best sunscreen is the one that you will actually apply in the morning, so you can use whatever you want, whether you choose based on price, appearance, scent, what prevents breakouts, whatever. That's the 3-step process that's going to be good enough for virtually everybody and put you ahead of the average guy. Cleanser, moisturizer, and SPF. There are 2 more items to add to the routine if you want to put in more effort, and 1 more item where, if you're itching to call me an ultra sus metro soy boy, will give you the perfect opportunity. First of the first 2 is vitamin C in the morning. There's a fancy, expensive brand called SkinCeuticals that just had their vitamin C patent run out, so Trader Joe's just dropped a pretty good dupe of it for like $10. The only downside is it does smell a little bit like hot dogs. I got this one because my dermatologist told me so. And then over time, I realized that most people who care have vitamin C in their routine. The nighttime product is tretinoin, which is prescription only. It prevents wrinkles. I got mine from the dermatologists. I got my first bottle of tretinoin about 3 years ago when I ran an ad for Curology. Curology does make it easy to get cleanser, moisturizer, sunscreen, and Tret all-in-one subscription, but it's a little bit more expensive than just picking out the exact products that you want to buy from a regular store. If the first 3 steps of the routine were the basics, cleanser, moisturizer, sunscreen, then these 2 are the step up. Everything else I have managed to ignore. Skincare is an enormous industry, and so there are dozens of words like serum, cream, mask, paste, clay. I don't pay them any mind unless I get a free sample from a shop or a friend and end up liking it. The stuff that I just covered is for utility, while these little cutesy eye masks that we get from Costco are just for fun. It is fun to stick them on from time to time and feel like you're having a little mini spa moment. They might do absolutely nothing. The final product I want to mention is something that my sisters put me onto. It's tinted sunscreen, but I never would have figured that out on my own because the label is so obtuse. Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40. It's at this point that you might feel like we're dipping a toe into the world of makeup, and you're allowed to get scared off and just click off now. Anytime that I color grade my videos, there's a patch of red right here that makes the skin color selection of that process really difficult. Instead of only relying on sunscreen that turns my stubble white and puts blue streaks under my eyes, owning this sunscreen allows me to blend all of the different colors of my skin together pretty nicely for days on which I have to shoot. I think anyone who wants to try one product that generally beautifies them by like 2%, should give some kind of tinted moisturizer a try. It's much lighter than actual foundation, it offers sun protection, and it's much cheaper than any sort of, I don't know, high-end luxury product. The end. You know, when I originally set out to make a video about how I finally started wearing sunscreen, it could have gone in either one of two directions. That's because I could have kept it all about skincare, like I just did, or made it about hyperbole. You see, when I was a young man, there was a viral video framed as a commencement speech that starts with the advice, wear sunscreen. And I remember hearing that and thinking, this must be serious advice from someone who knows something that I don't. To have the ear of an entire graduating class and give advice about SPF felt important. As the video progressed, I do remember feeling a little bit disappointed. The advice continued, and there was one line in it that went, live in New York City once, but then leave before it makes you hard. Live in Northern California once, but then leave before it makes you soft. Living on two different coasts of the US isn't actionable advice for a majority of graduates. The whole thing suddenly felt less universal, less objective. And although I do wear sunscreen now, I feel like I would have started in my teens if I had consumed that whole commencement speech feeling just as faithful as I did at the beginning in the advice being universally applicable. I believe hyperbole has an opportunity to weaken other people's faith in your point of view. All I know is that it happened to me as a teenager with regards to sunscreen. The most memorable red line that anyone ever added to one of my scripts was Hydroxide's edit to my seed oil video script when it was still being written. She said, I would remove this part where you call food dyes unnecessary because for a good number of people, they'll only buy certain foods if they're a very specific color. And so removing that word, unnecessary, made my language more precise, and it disarmed anyone who might say, do you take the same umbrage with the orange dye in cheddar as you do with the red 40 in candy? I guess I just don't think I've ever regretted making my writing less sensational and more objective. I'm posting this message to YouTube, the home of exaggeration and embellishment. Conjure in your mind a video title about anything. It probably contains some word like best or scam or destroys. It's undeniable that such language is great for grabbing attention, for changing culture, but I'm not convinced that it's very effective at building trust, at getting people to fundamentally agree with you. The avoidance of precise, objective language is part of what makes reality TV so fun to watch. The Bravo housewives have a remarkably low batting average in the arena of conflict resolution. You, as the viewer, understand that many of their tantrums could be resolved with fewer than 10 reasonable sentences, but a group of TV stars who are disincentivized to do so are better suited to scream and freak out. If you like being hyperbolic, I am one of the most annoying guys to be around. Just ask my wife, who might say, oh, honey, don't worry, I'm sure the hotel offers breakfast, to which I might argue, you aren't sure, you just have a strong suspicion. Compare that to how delighted I am when someone managed to come up with a political slogan that's actionable, reasonable, and aligned with my personal values. Gary Stevenson's Tax Wealth, Not Work is like the sequel to For Sale Baby Shoes Never Worn. He really managed to keep it real in just 4 words. For better or for worse, I try to say exactly what I mean as often as I can. It could be because I have so many lawyers in my life who traffic in precise language. It certainly doesn't help that I have a toddler now, since kids will take your words literally and might use them against you. My hyperbole aversion has led to some surprising outcomes on YouTube, both enjoyable and maddening. I'll post a straightforward summary on the current state of fragrances, and viewers will say, wow, this is a refreshing break from titles like Top 10 Panty Droppers Every Guy Needs to Buy This Summer. I'll post a legal breakdown of how companies are able to change their terms of service, and viewers will say, hey, wait a second, this guy supports the big companies. Based on my experiences online, I would say that I am lucky and fortunate to have cultivated an audience of like-minded adults, but I suspect that most people are actually big fans of hyperbole, so long as it serves as a means to their desired end. Someone might think, sure, Paul Saladino is a little nutty, but at least he's trying to get people healthier, or, yeah, redacted name of any popular political figure so that their fans don't kill me, says some crazy over-the-top stuff from time to time, but they're generally going to point people in the right direction. I think there are plenty of times that exaggerating your point of view cheapens it. I do not think everyone needs to live in New York and California at some point in their life. I do believe everyone should wear sunscreen.